YouTube, this video has been a long time coming, but it is finally here. TG. Now, I got top 4 for those who missed out. I got top 4 in the Grand Prix, which is a major Yu-Gi-Oh tournament hosted by the one and only Grand Harrier. If you do not follow him, I will give you the link to his YouTube and to his Twitch. Make sure you go follow the boy. He is the ultimate homie. So make sure you go follow him. He's and get involved in his tournaments. If you want to get involved, his tournaments are on Wednesday at 2 p.m. EST. That's the date and time of the Grand Prix every week. And he also does the Meta Weekly, which is hosted by DK, but run by Grand Harrier, casted by Grand Harrier. That is on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then the Rush Grand Prix, which should be today at 2 p.m. EST. So if you want to get involved, be a part of my boys' community, much appreciated, do that. Okay, now, going on about this TGs. Okay, so I'm going to discuss to you what the deck does. I know a lot of people are probably confused because they haven't seen this deck in a while. This is a bit different than my Grand Prix build, which I will show you here. I'll show you the Grand Prix list, and I will also show you the list that I'm currently on. So, basically, I cut Serpent down to 1. I may up it to 2, but we're going to go over what the different effects are. So, Striker, all your TGs have an effect, most of your TGs, I should say, not all. Most of your TGs have an effect that when they're destroyed by a card effect or battle, sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you get to float a TG. And that is on Striker, Warwolf, and Booster Raptor in the deck. Gear Zombie and Serpent do not have that ability. But we're going to, for those abilities, we're just going to go over the top. I'm not going to reread the Destruction Search a card. Alright, because it's pretty much all, redundant. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so Striker special summons itself from the hand while you control no TG monsters. While you control no monsters, I should say. While you control no monsters, your board's empty. You special summon it from the hand. Warwolf can special summon itself from the hand when you special summon a level 4 monster or a lower monster. Now, the very important thing about Warwolf is it does miss timing. So, Gear Zombie, what it does, we'll get over that when we get to Gear Zombie, but Warwolf can miss timing because it is a one effect. So, keep that in mind. Booster Raptor can special summon itself just by simply controlling a TG monster. And then we have those 3 are the ones that float. Now, to the other TGs, Screw Serpent is a card that you need at 1 or 2 of. This card is really, really good. You need it in order to do the combo. On summon, you get to special summon a TG from the graveyard. Second effect, in graveyard, you can banish this to increase the level or decrease the level of the TG monster until the end of the turn. Now, you can use both effects of Serpent in the same turn, which is really nice. So you can leading you to make Hama plays, Squire into Hama plays. I'm going to help you out with the lines as well so you're not completely lost. And also, we run the last TG is Gear Zombie. Basically, you reduce a monster's attack by 1,000 at TG monsters, and then you can special summon this card from the hand. And yes, you can reduce a monster with less than 1,000 attack to special summon this. So you can target your Striker, special summon your Gear Zombie, and do that. Okay, so that is possible. Now, what's very important here is that Gear Zombie can make Warwolf miss timing. So basically, how this would work is that you target the TG monster, then special summon this card, right? So, since you special summon this card immediately, then it loses attack. Warwolf can't summon itself because the last thing to happen is the monster losing 1,000 attack. If you want to check out more about missing the timing, check out my video in the description that I'll leave below on missing the timing. But, make sure that you know that. So, if you try to special summon Gear Zombie, then special Warwolf, that's not going to work. Because the last thing that has to happen in order for the Warwolf to special summon itself is the special summon to occur. If an action is occurring, like losing attack, afterwards, then Warwolf will not proc. So keep that in mind. On top of that, we're running 3 Survival Sets. So if you haven't seen this card before and you're wondering how to get it, it's completely free to play. You can get it as an SR ticket. You basically banish this card from your graveyard, and then target a dinosaur monster you control, and the opponent's monster you control, destroy those 2 cards on the field. Now, we're not using the first effect of Survival Zen where we're destroying all normal monsters on the field. That's not happening. But the second effect of this card is really, really strong. In case in point, with cards like Booster Raptor. Booster Raptor is a dinosaur. So if you control it and you have this thing in your graveyard, you pop 1 card in your field and 1 card in your opponent's field can be used to deal with backward going second. Also, what's very important about survivals, and you're going to probably ask, how do I get this in the graveyard? Well, that's why you have limiter removal. Limiter removal discards it, and then voila, you have survivals in the graveyard. And it could also be disruption for turn 1 and turn 2. Now, the first question that might pop in your head, seeing that you've probably seen 100 TG lists already, is that, how in the blazes do you not run Lance? Well, the reason why is because Survival's End works on both turn 1 and turn 2, and sometimes, as crazy as it might sound, I think Lance does get a bit win more, but, you know, that's yet to be determined by you guys, but I'm not really big, I can feel that you can cut Lance out of the deck and still be fine, so that's why I don't do it. Also, we run 2 limited removals, so we have follow-up, which leads me to want to play 2 Serpents, so I might just throw the second one in anyway. 2 Striker is really, really good. This allows, like I said, I've already went over Striker, but being able to OTK on turn 2 is really important, so you really want Striker in hand. Now, also, we run, well, going second, not really going first as much, but going second you do. Going first, it's okay, because it can help you play through Crow sometimes. Misk is really, really good. Misk is, if you don't know what it does, you banish any amount of dinosaurs from your graveyard, and then, while this card's in the graveyard, and then special summon 1 equal to the level that you banished. So if you banish a level 1 of them, you get special summon a 1, banish 3, 3, 4, 4, you get what I mean. And that's not in, that is including the Miscellaneousaurus. So if you banish Misk itself, you summon a level 1 for free. And also, during either play's main phase, you can send this card from the hand to the graveyard to make all dinosaur monsters you control unaffected by card effects during the main phase. Again, this doesn't really come up. This is not Master Duel. You're not really protecting all your dinos using Mythosaurus, and you're not trying to stop Nibiru. So this is not, the first effect is not really relevant. But the second effect is very, very relevant because it summons out Booster Raptor on the deck, and if you have Survival's End, you can pop a card in the field, plus this thing can get in the graveyard by itself. And it's also very relevant because it allows you to make a very specific play that plays through hand traps, which relies on you having Serpent plus Misk, Gear Zombie, and Warwolf, which allows you to end on Herald Halberd, which I'll teach you how to do that. And then Fossil Dig's just another consistency card to get to our Dino or Raptor, our Misk or Raptor, and then Crow allows us to disrupt decks like Shiranui. Now keep in mind, if Heralded Arclight is on the field, you cannot DD Crow. So if you're going for a Herald Halberd setup, DD Crow their Shiranui before you make the setup. So like the Spectral Sword in the graveyard, get rid of it immediately. So that way you're not disrupted by the fact that you make a Herald or Halberd. Okay? So keep that in mind. Anyway, let's get to some of the replays, and then I will go over combos with you guys. So, with that being said, this one's as well. And okay, with that being said, here, oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Here we go. This is the one I will tell you. This is a really cool meme. Just watch this one. We banished all of its Zonia parts. Okay, so there's a few replays there for you with TG. I don't want to go into too many because I want to be able to get to the combo portion of this video without it being an hour long. Okay. So that one, the last one I kind of saved in there for like a funny one, a really funny one that I did. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn up the music. No music being played now. I want you guys to focus because I'm gonna teach you the combos. All right. So the first setup you need to know is the untargetable halberd. Well, let's see what the hand is first. I can kind of mitigate first. Okay. So an untargetable halberd cannon is really easy. It's generally a 1-card combo. You can discard any of the other TGs that you would have in hand to do it. Or any other card. As long as you open up like Raptor, Striker, or Warwolf, you have the combo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go limited removal. And just to show it to you, I'm going to just discard Striker. Just to show you that it's a 1-card combo. So we're going to add Serpent and Warwolf. And this is your basic untargetable halberd cannon. You're going to summon your Serpent, special summon your Raptor, and then we're going to go into our Star Guardian. Does not matter where you put it. Add back the Serpent. Screw Serpent effect. Special summon out the Screw Serpent. Special back the Raptor. Going to make a Power Gladiator. Then, oh, no, never mind. I messed up the combo. Alright, redo it. You didn't see anything. You did not see anything. Ignore that. Ignore that. Cut. Alright, again. I'm not thinking. I wasn't thinking there. Oh, boy. Sorry about that. One more time. Alright. Here we go. Okay. Again, 1-card combo. Now, with this hand, we could technically end on the Mist Saurus as well. We can end on a Survival Zen pop, but there's no need. We're just going to do the 1-card combo. I just want to show that more or less to you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our Serpent and our Warwolf. And now you're probably asking, what do I add? Well, that heavily depends on the hand you have. If you have Raptor, add Serpent, Warwolf. If you have Warwolf, you can add, if you have Warwolf, you add Serpent, Raptor. If you have Raptor, you add Serpent, Warwolf. And if you have Warwolf, you can add, if you have Serpent, then you can add Warwolf, Raptor. It depends what you don't have, just basically what you add. So, again, without Sean messing it up. Sorry about that, guys. I just woke up. So, if I seem like I made a mistake there, forgive me, please. Okay. Now, we're going to do this play. Now, we're going to do the play. So, we're going to go Screw Serpent effect. Special summon back the Raptor. And there's something I got to go over the deck profile with you that I totally forgot. We didn't discuss the extra deck, and we didn't discuss the skill. So we're going to revisit the deck profile after the combos. So we're going to special summon out our Warwolf, our Striker, and then back the Star Guardian. Then we're going to make our level 5 Paragladiator. Go into our Blade Blaster. Then we activate our skill. Let's summon out the free body. Activate the Respiro Dragonfly. Summoning back 2 bodies. And then into our Tech Genis Halberd Cannon. Now, given the hand we had, we could end on a Misc pop. You would end on a Survival's End pop, but you're probably going to ask me, how would you do that? Because you have no way to get Raptor on the field. Well, I do, because we would start the combo with Miscellaneousaurus to use that Raptor from the deck. That would be destroyed in the end phase. And then, rather than using the one that we already had in hand. So, the one we already had in hand, we'd special summon now at the end of the combo. And the one that we summon off Miscellaneousaurus, we just use for the combo. Leaving us a Raptor on the field for a pop, as well as having the negated summon. But yeah, that is the 1-card combo. Now, I want to go over Herald Halberd. That's the second thing I want to go over. And this is very important to understand. Okay, so now we're up to Herald Halberd. If I get the hand for it. Show me the hand. Okay, perfect. Alright. So now, the one thing you need to know about Herald Halberd. Now, I'm going to do this combo. I'm going to do, actually, this first. If you open up Warwolf, Missaurus, this is already combo. Because you need to search 2 cards. You need to open up a 2 cards combo here. You need to either open up a combination of, a 2-card combination of Warwolf, Missaurus, Screw Serpent, and Gear Zombie. Okay? Those 2 cards you need to open if you want to do the generic line. Or Raptor. Raptor could also be in there as well. Alright? But you need to open up a combination of 2 of those 5 cards that I mentioned. What's also really important is with Missaurus, I'm going to do this in a different way. Because I'm going to teach you that you can play around hand traps. So this is the way to play around hand traps. If you're afraid of your opponent's Veiler, your opponent's DD Crow, your opponent's Ghost Mourner, this is what you're going to want to do going first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate our skill, we're going to reveal our Warwolf, and we're going to activate our Limited Removal. Then we're going to activate our Limited Removal, in this case pitching our Miscellaneousaurus. Pretend we're going first here. And then the 2 cards I don't have right now, even though I have a Missaurus, I already have, well, I have Warwolf in hand already. But let's pretend, for argument's sake, I opened up Screw Serpent I opened up Warwolf and Missaurus. Alright? So, I searched Screw Serpent as one of the cards I'm searching now. I'm just going to put another card in the hand. Pretend that we didn't open up the Screw Serpent, right? Alright, so I'd search out 2 cards that I didn't have. So, in reality, I would be searching Gear Zombie and Screw Serpent, pretending that this card was never in our hand. Okay, so you search the 2 cards you don't have. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Miscellaneousaurus first. So then we're going to activate Missaurus, special summoning out the Booster Raptor. Then immediately toggling on, we're going to special summon Warwolf, and then reveal the Gear Zombie that's in our hand to special summon Tech Genis Gear Zombie. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I am going to make Herald of Arclight. Oh, not that. That's not a Herald of Arclight. I'm going to make Herald of Arclight in the EMC. And it's very important you do this, because if you don't make it in the EMC whilst you can still do combo, you won't be able to do it optimally because you won't be able to get Blade Blaster in the graveyard. Next, we're going to normal summon Screw Serpent, not using its effect, and we're going to go into our Star Guardian. We're going to activate Star Guardian's effect, and Star Guardian is going to add back our Screw Serpent. Next, we're going to activate that Screw Serpent, special summoning itself, and then special summoning Booster Raptor from the graveyard. Then, we're going to go into our Power Gladiator. And then we're going to special summon our Respiro Dragonfly with our skill. And then from here on out, it's the same combo. Now, I want to point out at the end of the combo how this plays around hand traps. I'm going to go on the Blade Blaster. Then we're going to use our Dragonfly effect. Special summoning back our Star Guardian and our Power Gladiator. And then into our Halberd Cannon. Now, what's very important with this combo, you're going to ask me, Sean, how does this play around hand traps? Well, I want you to think of it this way. Let's say we did that combo, right? We specialed our Booster Raptor off Misk, specialed our Wolf into our Gear Zombie, making our Herald of Arclight. How did we play around hand traps? Well, very simple. Now, we didn't have to commit Screw Serpent before we threw out an Omni-Gate. Now, it's also very important, this is very, very important, if they have Veil or Crow, they can't use it. Period. So they cannot use Veil or Crow here because of Herald's restriction. So if your opponent has a DD Crow, they can't use it. So not only are you preventing them from using it, you're also getting an Omni-Negate in response. So you've turned off hand traps, and you've also gotten an Omni-Negate response, which is really, really good. So if you can make this turn 1, I would heavily focus your build around making this turn 1. Because not only are you turning off their hand traps, but you're also making it so that way you have an Omni-Negate in the follow-up, and you're essentially taking away 2 cards from your opponent, which is really, really strong. So if you want to make the best TG plays, this is it. And I would heavily focus the deck around it to make this play, because this is the best turn 1 you can do in the deck. Unless you're going up against Sky Striker, and with Sky Striker, I'm going to teach you what to do. If you wanted to make against Sky Striker, all you're going to do is you're going to make your Blade Blaster, and you're going to end on a Raptor. Hopefully with a Survival Zend in the graveyard, because then you have more opportunities to destroy them. You know what I'm saying? For them not to OTK you, and getting that Blade Blaster protection. But mostly, what's really good about having Raptor with your trap card in the graveyard, your Survival Zend, is you can destroy Multi-Roll. And Multi-Roll is the card that would accomplish them 2 things. That gives them follow-up, and at the same time allows them to make it so you can't respond to their spells. If you destroy Multi-Roll, then you can respond to their spells. And then it's a lot harder for them to win. Okay? So that's very, very important. Alright? So, given that, this is what you're going to want to do. This is how you play TG optimally. Okay, so I'm going to scoop out of this. That is the main thing you want to be doing. Now, Herald Halberd could also be achieved. I got one more combo to show you. Okay? Before I go back to the deck profile and we finish up the video. I got one more combo to show you. And I'm going to show that to you right now. So this is the last combo I want to show you. Hopefully it gives me the hand for it, and I don't have to keep scooping in and out. Okay, you're not going to give me the hand for it. Very nice. Hooray. Alright, let's do it again. Alright, bring me to this point. Alright, you're going to show me combo this time. I have faith. Hooray, it did. Okay. So this is just Herald Halberd without having Misk in hand. Without it. Now, in this case, like I said, we have 2 of the cards, right? What did I say? We need to open up a Wolf, and we need to open up a Gear Zombie, right? Striker really isn't going to help us. So if we're going first, we're always going to pitch Survival Zend. That's like a free discard, right? That's what we're always doing. So we're going to add Serpent Raptor. Now, this doesn't play around hand traps because we do not have the Misk. However, we could start doing this. We're going to summon Serpent, and then we're going to special summon our Booster Raptor, and then we're going to special summon our Warwolf immediately. Then, after we do that, we're going to make our Star Guardian in the main monster zone. Again, you want it in the main monster zone because if you make it in the main monster zone, you're going to have accessibility to be able to make your Blade Blaster live at all points. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to special summon your Gear Zombie, and we're going to make Herald of Arclight in the EMZ. Very important. Okay, if you make this in the main monster zone, you can't combo, and we don't want that. Then we're going to go ahead and summon our Screw Serpent. Our Screw Serpent's going to go ahead and revive back our Booster Rattler. And then we're going to be able to make our Power Gladiator. Next, we are going to activate our skill, special summoning out our free level 2 from out of nowhere. And then we are going to make Blade Blaster. And then activate our Respiro Dragonfly, special summoning out our 2 bodies to the field. And then back into Halberd Cannon. Again, ending on Herald Halberd here. Okay. Now, obviously, the stronger one is with the Mist, and you may say, why? It's the same board. Well, the reason why is if you know your opponent has a hand trap, and you turn on their ability to have hand traps, it's very strong. Herald's effect is very, very strong. And I'm going to go over it back in the deck profile. But that's how you end on Herald Halberd there. Okay? Without having the Mist Source. Okay. So those are the combos that you need to understand. Now, back here. Let's go finish the deck profile up before we end the video. Alright? So over here, we also have our extra deck. Now, our extra deck contains TG Trident Launcher. So if you don't know what this card does, and you've seen me go into this with the combos, TG Trident Launcher takes 2 effect monsters, including a TG Tuner. You can use this with DD Crow. If you set a DD Crow, the skill will prevent you from normal summoning, but if you set a DD Crow, you can flip it up and use it with Trident Launcher. Then, Trident Launcher special summons a TG from your hand, field, a hand, deck, and graveyard. Now, you have to special summon from all 3 locations. You can't summon from one location and not summon from the other. What's also very important with this card is this card does not target. So if your opponent activates a DD Crow, they do not know what you're targeting in the graveyard. Most of the time, they're going to crow out your Star Guardian because they're going to figure pretty obvious that you want to target that. But, you know, you could sit on 3 bodies with this thing in the worst case scenario. Okay? So keep that in mind, even if they want to crow your Star Guardian. Next, we are playing Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix is very, very good. This card is really good. I did not play it in my Grand Prix list, but Phoenix is really, really good because if you don't open up like a way to disrupt their back row, Phoenix is very strong against the deck like Blue Eyes White Dragon because you can put up their back row, and if they decide to activate a card like Book of Moon or at any point, then they're not going to expect the Phoenix, and you might be able to OTK them with Phoenix and Cyber's Quantum Dragon at any point. Onimaru is very good if you use this with 2 Synchro Monsters when it attacks. It's very easy to make. You can make this with Squire plus Star Guardian, or you can make this with Quantum plus Star Guardian. Even on your opponent's turn, you won't get the effect, but you're not going to use the effect on your opponent's turn anyway. This thing attacks using only Synchro Monsters and material to Synchro Summon it. It goes up to 6,000 attack. So this is like Shiranui Shogun Saga. You can easily lethal your opponent, and they may not expect it, but you can be in a lot of situations where you can easily lethal your opponent. Cyber's Quantum Dragon is very good because this is very good in the mirror match. This is an untargetable removal out. It's also really good against Cosmo, because if you make this against Cosmo, that's going to get really annoying for them, because their ships will not float. They'll go back to their end, and it makes it so you can easily OTK Cosmo by making your Quantum Dragon. So basically, when this thing battles, you get to bounce back whatever it battles to, and your opponent cannot target monsters on the field. Oh no, wait, it won't matter because you won't control Link generally unless you make this with like Nightmare Phoenix, then they can't target other monsters the controls for attacks, except this one, or card effects, except for this one. But that other effect is rarely going to come up. Mainly, it's a non-targetable out. Think about that. Herald of Arclight is an amazing card. First of all, you tribute it, it's an Omni Negate the activation of any spell, trap, or monster effect. Now, keep in mind, if your opponent activates an effect in the graveyard, like a Survival's End, or an effect on field that's already been activated, that won't negate it. So you can't negate Survival's End, that's the effect of a card, not the activation. So keep that in mind, okay? Because a lot of people mess it up. But what also makes this card insanely, insanely good is any monster set from the hand to the graveyard is banished instead. Now, you're going to say, where does that come up? Well, there are cards in the game that must go to the graveyard. Effect Veiler is one of them. It has to go to the graveyard. You cannot use Effect Veiler under this because it would get banished, and it has to go to the graveyard. DD Crow is another one. DD Crow has to go to the graveyard. Okay? It says to the graveyard, right? And Effect Veiler says send this card to the graveyard. If it does not go to the graveyard, it cannot resolve. So cards like Effect Veiler and Crow, which would normally hurt a TG deck, do not now, right? And then if we look at a card like, other cards that interact, I think this does. Let's see. This Ghost Meets Girl have to go to the graveyard. No, it doesn't. Okay. So Ghost Meets Girl will not interact. This will still activate. Herald will not prevent this, but you can negate the activation of this. You will not prevent them with Herald from using Ghost Meets Girl. So keep that in mind. Okay, that just has to discard a card. But Veiler and Crow have to go to the graveyard. Cards that have to go to the graveyard will not activate under Herald the Arclight, which makes it insanely strong. Another card that I believe that has to go to the graveyard is Cards of Consonance. Oh, no, it does not. Okay, never mind. Alright, so forget that. But those two cards, Herald, Veiler, and Crow, cannot activate. So a lot of the hand traps that have to go to the graveyard will be stopped. One that won't be stopped, and I can tell you this for a fact, is Ghost Mourner. Ghost Mourner will not be stopped because this just has to be discarded. Okay? So that will not stop that indefinitely without you negating the Ghost Mourner. You can hard on negate it and then still make Harbor Cannon. But that won't hard stop it. But yeah. Herald the Arclight, really, really strong. Shiranui Squire Saga is very good. Non-target monster pop. It also can pop a back row. It's really good against Sky Striker because you want to go second. You're going to want to make your Wonder Magician plus your Squire Saga and then OTK. I'll show you where Wonder Magician comes from. Hama is a double attack as long as you use a Synchro Monster's material. Very, very good. Also, when it inflicts battle damage, all monsters your opponent controls is 1,000 attack, making it easier to OTK. And then Harbor Cannon is just 4,000 attack. It can negate your opponent's summon, which is really, really good. Negates the summon of your opponent's monster. Also, Harbor Cannon has another effect. When it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can float into any TG monster in the graveyard. Now, what's very important is, again, this can miss timing. So if your opponent says, let's say they destroy your Harbor Cannon on Chain Link 2, then you will not get the effect. Okay? So, or if your activate Successor Soul reads, tribute your opponent's monster, then special summon a normal monster out of the deck, right? So if they special summon like Blue Eyes out of the deck and they tribute your Harbor Cannon, you won't get the effect because it tributes your monster first. The last thing to happen is them special summoning Blue Eyes, not your monster going to the graveyard. So it can miss timing. So keep that in mind. Alright? So that's something you need to keep in mind at all points. Now, on top of that, we are running the skill Limit and Removal Regulator open. This skill is nuts. It has 3 different effects. At the first effect, at the start of the duel, add 6 TG monsters to the extra deck, and you locks you into normal special summoning monsters, only TG monsters. But you could set all the monsters and flip summon them. So keep that in mind. But you can only normal summon or set TG monsters. Okay? And also you cannot activate the effects of level 7 or higher non-TG monsters on your opponent's turn. So example, you can't Black Rose on your opponent's turn or Quarion. Okay, that cannot happen. Alright? They didn't want you to do that. They want you to keep it purely anime-ish. Alright? Now on top of that, we have the second effect, reveal level 3 or lower TG in the hand, add a TG, eliminate or remove from your deck to your hand. And then the third effect, play 1 Respro Dragonfly for free outside the deck on your field. Now that third effect is absolutely insane because going second is just a free body to do whatever you want with. Make Nightmare Phoenix, make Wonder Magician, do whatever you want. Make a Herald of Arclight to prevent your opponent's negations. Alright, Herald of Arclight can be used aggressively on your opponent's turn to stop, on your turn going second to stop them from activating certain cards because you want an Omni-negate the field. Or preventing a DD Crow by you making that on their field, right? So think about that, even stopping their hand traps on your turn. TG Blade Blaster is really, really good. This card's just a level 10 synchro that gets added to the deck for free. This card is insane because when your opponent targets this with a spell or trap effect, you can discard that 1 card to negate it. So if they target you with Widow Anchor Afterburners, Widow Anchor, you can negate that. And you may say, then why is the Sky Striker matchup so bad going first? You can negate all these things. Well, that's where multi-roll comes into effect, right? Because if they use multi-roll, then you can't respond with this. Then it gets a lot tougher. But you also have another effect during your opponent's turn. If this card's on the field, you can banish 1 TG monster to banish this card. So you can dodge the effects. If they activate their multi-roll and you have no way to pop it, then you can just banish this card in response to their multi-roll. Make sure you do it then, because if you don't do it, then they're going to be able to... so they multi-roll, send the card, then chain and banish it immediately. Because then you give them priority, and then they can take your things, and you can't respond anymore. Then you have Star Guardian. This card was a main box as Star, and they gave it to you for free at 2 copies. So Star Guardian adds back a TG monster from your graveyard to your hand on Synchro Summon, and then special summons a TG from your hand, and also can quick effect Synchro on your opponent's turn. This card is absolutely bonkers, insane, really, really good. Adds back Serpent for comboing. Power Gladiator is just a level 5 that pierces, and then if it's destroyed, draws a card. Wonder Magician is absolutely crazy. This card is really, really good, just because it pops the back row on Synchro Summon, so it's just a free level 5. It was a main box, a mini box but just pops a back row on Synchro Summon. Really, really good. And then being able to get this free level 2 on your opponent's turn, make the Squire Saga, and then threaten Onimaru against Sky Striker. Respo Dragonfly is not needed. This card in the extra deck never comes up. You're never hard making Respo Dragonfly. You're getting it with the skill, but basically it can target a TG monster and special summon the Synchro monsters that we used as material for it. Now what's very important about this is it says Synchro monsters, not Synchro material. So if you make a Star Guardian or Wonder Magician, you can't summon this and then undo the Wonder Magician into the TG monsters that you use and make another Star Guardian. You can't do that. This can only use Synchro monsters used to summon a TG. So like if you go into a Blade Blaster, you use Star Guardian in your Power Gladiator. Those are Synchro monsters, not Synchro material. So those can be summoned. And then limited removal, I don't think I went over this in the deck profile. Basically, it's onomatopoeia for TGs. You discard a card, add 2 TG monsters with different names for your deck to your hand. Also, second effect in the graveyard, you can bash this card, and if you control a machine type TG Synchro, add that target to your hand. Now, what's really important, you can't use both effects at the same turn, but you can use one effect per turn, is if you are on turn 3, and your opponent, you activate this to get back your Serpent, and your opponent chains ID feet, you will not get the effect, because that TG monster needs to be on the field to add it back. Otherwise, it gets shuffled in the deck. Alright, so keep that in mind. But still, shuffling in the deck isn't bad if you feel you can grind out the matchup. Okay, so 40 minutes long. Yeah, I know. I tried to keep this under an hour. If you liked this video, please subscribe. Follow me. I'm going to do a TG Climb to Max. I have not done and finished one yet. So please, TG Climb to Max is coming. If you want to learn this deck before Stage 2, you need to follow me on Twitch or subscribe to me on YouTube so you can watch the stream on either side. You need to do this so I can teach you the deck. We're going to be playing TGs tonight. So if you want to see TGs in action, please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Also, like I said, follow my boy Grand Harriet. Follow my boy Stephen Freshy. Thank you. All my boys doing unlock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye, YouTube.